Very good morning to all. This side Gagan Thakral from Krishna Engineering College. Today in lecture 6 of web technology, we discuss about few things of Java programming language and the basic terminologies which are used. Today's lecture is first array. An array is a collection of variables of similar types, or we can say that an array is a collection of similar data type, collection of variables of similar data types. Control statements are those special statements which provides the flow of a program. Iteration statements are used for repetitions. If we want to execute the same things in a program, then this is done with the help of iteration statements. Java array. Java provides a data structure, the array, which stores a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same type. An array is used to store a collection of data, but it is often more useful to think of an array as a collection of variables of the same type. How to declare array variable in Java? To use an array in a program, you must declare a variable to reference the array, and you must specify the type of array the variable can reference. Here is the syntax for declaring an array variable in Java programming language. First of all, we have to write data type and then square brackets and then the array reference variable, or we can say that name of the array. This is the preferred way. Next way to declare the array is, first of all, we write data type, then name of array, then square bracket. It will also works in Java, but the preferred way in Java is this. Both the way we can declare the array in Java, but the preferred way is this, creating array. Now, how to create array? You can create an array by using the new operator with the following syntax. First of all, we write the array name and then equal to new keyword and new operator, then we write the data type of array, and then in square bracket we pass the size of array. The above statement does two things. It creates an array using new data types, that is array size. It assigns the reference of the newly created array to the variable array reference variable. Declaring an array variable, creating an array variable, and assigning the reference of the array to variable can be combined in a single statement as given below. First of all, we require to write data type of the array, then we write square brackets, then we write the name of array, then equal to, then we write new operator, then again we write data type of array, and in square bracket we pass the size of array. Here declaration and definition, each and everything is done in a single line. Or in another way, we can directly assign the values to array. In this way, we write data type, then square bracket, then array name equal to, in curly braces we directly pass the values to the array. Now we will discuss about how to access array, how to create, initialize and process array in this program. So when we want to create a program in Java, then it is mandatory to create a class initially. So first of all, we create a class with name test array. We write the name of class test array. Then we write the main function of class by writing public static void main, and we pass string type array as argument in the main function of Java program. Now we write a array, type of array is double, and we write square bracket, and we write the name of array. Name of array is my list, and it will store four values. We directly assign these four values with the help of curly braces, and the values in array, the values are in my list array is 1.9, 2.9, 3.4, and 3.5. So my list array contains four values of double type. Now what we want to do, we want to print all the array elements in our program. So we write for loop. In this for loop we write int I is equal to 0. We initialize the variable integer type variable I with 0, and we write I is less than my list is the array name dot length. It will calculate the length of array, and we will run our loop up to the length of array, and then we do increment of I, and we will print as system.out.println my list I plus, and we will pass space, and this will print initially for I is equal to 0 my list 0 index value, that is 1.9. Again loop runs, and it will run for index value 1, it will print 2.9, then it will print for index 2 3.4, then for index 3 it will print 3.5. After that it will exit from the loop. So this way it will print all the values of array. Now what we want to do, we want to perform summation of all the elements of an array, sum of all elements of an array. So we take a variable total, double type variable total, and we will initialize it with the value 0. Now we again run the loop for I is equal to 0, I less than length of the array, and I plus plus. We write first element my list I index 0 element, and we will write this as total is equal to total plus my list index 0. Initially it will work for index 0, then for index 1 2 3 up to 3 it will do summation of all the elements of array, and it will store in the total variable. So this is our assignment operator, shorthand operator. When we expand this expression total plus is equal to my list I, it will become total is equal to total plus my list I, and it will do automatically all the values of array, sum up all the values of an array. Now after the loop what we do, we print this total as total is equal to variable value of total. Now what we want to do, we want to find out largest element of the array. To find out the largest element of an array, what we do, we take a variable double type variable max, and we will initialize this with the first element of an array, that is 1.9 at index 0. So initially the value of max is 1.9. Now we again run the loop for traversing all the values of an array. If my list I is greater than max, we will check for index 1. If at index 1 the value of array is greater than max, then we will assign value of index 1 to the max, and this will done for loop for the all the elements of an array, and this will automatically find out maximum element of the array. And finally what we do, we print the maximum element as max, and finally it will give us maximum element of the array. In this way, in this program, what we do, we initially print all the values of array, then we perform sum of the all the elements of an array, and finally we find out the maximum value of an array. In same way we are also able to calculate minimum of an array. Now we will discuss about Java control statements. Java control statements are those statements which decides the flow of a Java program. Generally, Java control statements are divided into three categories. One is selection statement, another is iteration statement, and last one is jump statement. In selection statement, we consider if else, and switch. And in iteration or repetition, what we consider while loop, do while loop, and for loop. For jump statement, we consider break is used to get out from the loop, and continue is used to transfer the control to loop once again, and return is generally used in methods to return values of methods. Now we will discuss one by one selection statements, iteration statements, and jump statements with syntax. So now what we do, we initially discuss about selection statements, that is if and if else statements. If statement in Java works as if, then we have to pass test expression, and then the definition of if is passed with the help of curly braces, and here we write the statement block which we want to execute. If else. Now if else statement, in if, again we pass the test expression, and we pass the block which we want to execute with the help of if. And in else, if the if is false, then else block automatically works, and we write the statements in else block to execute. Nesting of if else statements, if we pass if else statement inside the if, then it is known as nesting of if else statements. Example, initially we pass if test condition. In the definition of if test condition, we again pass if else statement, and this is known as nesting of if else. And finally, we close the definition of initial if statement, and then we write else. This else works in the initial if statement, and it will print statement 3. If initially condition 1 is true, then it will work for condition 2. Otherwise, if condition 1 is false, it will directly goes to statement 3, else and statement 3. So this is known as nesting of if else statements. Now we will discuss about if and else if. If we want to test multiple test conditions in a single program, then we can use if and if else. Initially, in if we pass the condition, if condition is true, then we print statement 1. Again we write else if, then we write condition 2. If condition 2 is true, then it will print statement 2. Else if condition 3, if condition 3 is true, then it will print statement 3. And condition n, if condition nth true, then it will execute statement n. Else default statement, if all the conditions are condition 1 to condition n are false, then it will automatically print the default statement. So this is known as if else if statement. Now we will discuss about switch statements. In switch statements, in we use switch keyword, and we have to pass expression as argument in the switch keyword. And there are cases in switch statement. Case value 1, and we write block 1 which we want to execute in the in case 1, and we write break to jump out from the switch. And then we write case value 2 block 2 and break up, and this process repeat until we want to repeat this process. And finally we write the default case. Default case is that case if any one of the case does not match, then it will execute default case. default block, and finally we write break. If we don't use break in switch, if case 1 is true, then it automatically execute case 2, 3 up to n and default case. So it is mandatory to write break in each and every case of the switch statement. Without break, it will continue to execute all the cases of the switch expression. Now we will discuss about for loop. For loop, in for loop, what we have to do, we have to pass three arguments in for loop. First is initialization, second is test expression, and third is increment. For example, we write integer type variable int count. For count is equal to 0, count less than 100, count plus plus. Here we initialize count with 0 value, and test in test expression we check if count is less than 100, then it will work automatically. And finally we do increment count with count plus plus. We increment the variable count with 1 value. So system.out.println prints count is equal to plus count value. This will print 0 to 99 values. Initially it will work for 0. 0 is less than 100. Condition is true. It will print 0. Then it will do increment and count becomes 1. 1 is less than 100, then it will print 1. Then count becomes 2. 2 is less than 100, then it will print 2. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 99. 99 is less than 100, it will print 99. When it will come 100, 100 is less than 100, the condition is false and it will exit from the loop. Now we will discuss about while loop. In while loop, initially we declare a variable and initialize the variable with the variable with some initial value, and we check the condition by passing argument as while loop. While count is less than 5, then we print the statements and we do increment of count variable. In this loop, initially count is 0. 0 is less than 5. Condition is true. Count prints count 0, and then it will do increment and count becomes 1. 1 is less than 5. It will print 1. And then 1 is incremented by 1 and it will become 2. 2 is less than 5. It will print 2. Then 3 is less than 5. It will print 3. Then 4 is less than 5. It will print 4. And 5 is less than 5. Condition become false and it will exit from the while loop. Now do while loop. Do while loop is another way to execute the while loop. In do while loop, if the condition is false, at least once it will print the statement, the do whiles to do. Initially it will execute the statement that it will do test the condition. So the major difference between while and do while is that in while initially check the condition, in do while it will execute the statement, then it will check the condition. If condition is false, then it will also print once the statement in the case of do while, but it is not done in the case of while loop. Now we use jumping from loops, that is break. Break is used for jumping from the loop. In this figure, initially in section A, what we do, we are using while loop. If condition is true, then what we do, we are writing break. It will exit from the while loop conditionally. So break is used exit from the loop. In figure B, we again use, in the case of do while condition, if condition is true, then break, we will exit from the do while loop. In the case C, we are using break in for loop. In for loop, if there is condition is true, then we are using break and it will exit from the loop. And in nested for loop, again we are using in figure D break to exit from inner loop. Jumping from loop using continue. While the in figure A, when we are using while, if condition is true, we are using continue. After the statement which are after the continue statement are not executed, and it will go to the test condition of the loop. Continue does not exit from the loop, but it will return to the testing condition of the loop. In the do while, again it will do continue, it will go to the test condition of while loop, and in for loop also continue return to the test condition of for loop. It does not exit from the loop, but it will return to the test condition of the loop. Now we will discuss few multiple choice question. Which of these selection statements test only for equality? If, switch, if and switch, none of them mentioned. Only switch case uses the selection statement test for equality. In if, we are also check less than or greater than, but in the case of switch we are using only equality. So the answer is option B, switch. Which of these are selection statements in Java? Uh, Option A is if, option B is for, and C is continue, D is break. For is used for iteration, continue and break is used for jumping from the loop. Only if is a selection statement. So answer is A. Which of the following loop will execute the body of the loop when, even when condition controlling the loop is initially false? Options are A, do while, B, while, C, for, D, none of the mention. As earlier I mentioned to all of you, do while is that loop in which if condition is false, at least it will execute once. So the answer is do while. Option A is the answer. Next question, which of these sub jump statements can skip processing the remainder of the code in its body for a particular iteration? Option A is break, option B is return, and option C is exit, option D continue. ब्रेक एग्जिट करता है लूप से, रिटर्न प्रोवाइड्स एन आंसर, एग्जिट भी एग्जिट करता है, आंसर इज डी कंटिन्यू. In the case of continue, we will return back to the test condition of the loop. So answer is D, continue. Thanks to all for watching this video.